Yeyote tu fikiria. And the current state. I want you to think about the people who are in leadership currently. Are they in leadership based on merit, or is it some form of nepotism? I want you to think about some of you are already in corporate. You're working in 8 to 5s, right? I want you to think about where it is that you're currently working at. Ni kazi gani unafanya sahi? Think about the institutional gaps that are currently there. The things that you usually complain about. I saw even Ruto talking about one of its interns hawalipwi. Na niliona akisema walipwe 5k. Mimi sijui kama 5k inaweza pitisha msee a whole month. Think about such kind of things. Yeah? Umesoma university, probably uliamua kwenda university ukafanya parallel. Umetumia almost 300,000-400,000 across the 4 years. And immediately you leave, you have to work for free. And working is not the problem. And even after you finish giving out your service in a form of internship, it's no longer an attachment. You're now employed and you're earning 25,000 shillings. Now 25,000 is good money, but 25,000 with a rising economy, the inflation, is it worth it? So we end up looking at, my boss is not paying me enough. On this other end, probably the government is not doing what it's meant to do. And so I know there's a myriad of things that are going through your head as to what it is that you can change. And so a question that has really been disturbing my mind. I keep on thinking about it, and I keep on trying to see what it is that we can do about it is, do you think changing Kenya is as easy as just changing the leadership? Assuming we have, kuna wase wa 1 term hapa, kuna wase wa 2 term, na kuna wase hata watajui ile siku yenye anaenda kuvote. Assuming we actually choose another president currently from the presidential candidates, do you think Kenya is going to change? Tuseme tu ukweli. Because some of us believe that Kenya is actually going to change. Do you think Kenya is actually going to change? And so, nisaidie na mic. Leo siku hapa kuongea, nisaidie mic ingine. So, we are here to have a conversation. Who really feels like anakonga na burden ya Kenya? Ama say as we speak, you're feeling like there's something that inakunini. Here, Elvin, here's a microphone. What do you feel about Kenya?
Kenya is in a trajectory of change. Mm-hmm. And this is coming because now cultures are shifting. Mm-hmm. More people are educated. Mm-hmm. More people live in life in terms of a reality. Mm-hmm. Not just being told and being given hope, but young people right now are those people who are like, no, we've had this before. There is no change. Where is change? Where is accountability? That's why I can give an example for like Sifuna right now. Mm-hmm. People are underestimating him the way he is coming. But you see, for Sifuna, he's giving his terms and conditions from a realistic, honest way. Mm-hmm. You know, even look at the way he did his pay bill for people to be able to contribute for him. Mm-hmm. People are giving him money. Investors are coming. Why? Mm-hmm. Because he's saying something that many politicians have not been saying for a long time. Mm-hmm. And another example, even right now as we speak, if you're a keen observer, Ruto has also changed the way he's doing his politics. Mm-hmm. Right now, his form of campaign is through the young people, right? Mm-hmm. Look at Nyota.
Yeah.
Look at, like yesterday, the way he said, by the way, interns are not being paid. There's someone who has never seen even 500 to 1,000 shillings. When they hear 5,000, they're like, that's budgetable somehow. But at least that conversation will start from somewhere. So for me, even for Kenya, for the longest time we have been living in a place where we are saying, oh, you know, this is the culture. Oh, you know, Kenyans still like this, like this, like this. I don't believe like that. The more Kenyans are being educated, is the more knowledge and change is going to come to Kenya. Accountability is slowly coming. And I believe the next 50 years, Kenya is not going to be the same as it was before.
Interesting. Interesting. Thank you, Elvin. Anyone else who feels like you have something to say about Kenya? I'm just trying to lay context towards the conversation.
So I think for me, I can say total change will come through change in mindset. Total change will come through a complete change of mindset and not just leadership. If leadership is to change today, yes, there will be change, but it won't be full. And I can compare this to what happened in the recent by-election, whereby things were dished out, but it didn't affect the choice of people in the ballot. So there was civic education in that these things belong to you. You can eat them and enjoy them, but be wise at the ballot.
Now, let's try this conversation too, because bado kuna wasi tunaongelea Kenya, una struggle kuona tunasema nini. Let me bring it now back to you. Penye uko sahi. Do you believe that you can be of change to this country? Hata uamue leo ukue, yani God akubless. Do you think there's anything that you can do to change the state of what is happening currently in Kenya? There are a number of things that we need to understand as a generation. Probably this is not a conversation for today, but number one, we need to understand the role of families. Number two, we need to understand the role of societies. Number three, we need to understand the role of businesses, different industries. We need to look at companies. We need to look at all these things and what is their role actually in Kenya. Because when I'm talking like this, probably there's someone who doesn't. For you, it's just a matter of voting. Alafu vitu tu ziende venye tu zitaenda. Nikipata job hata poa zaidi, nikianzisha kampani yangu, well and good. But there's so much to understand in these three things that if you correctly get it, you will know why you're needed in this country. It goes beyond the tax that you get to pay. It goes beyond the tax that you get to pay. Yesterday, where is Sam? We were recording videos yesterday and Sam was telling me something. The owner of Nice Unga has employed almost 1,000 people. I guess the farm is close to Embu or Kirinyaga, I'm not sure. In a country where unemployment is still quite high. I'm wondering how I can bring this conversation well enough to a point where it can be relatable. Elvin, do you think the change is actually happening currently? Let me give you a mic. And what does it take for the change to actually happen?
The change is like a small tree currently. As a seedling, it's slowly growing. And for change to come, it means that cultures have to be shifted. strategies have to be shifted. We know, and many times they've said in Kenya, for you to succeed in leadership, you must be able to do a lot of bravery and everything, etc., etc., etc. But now we can see there's change from even the Ol Kalou by-elections that happened. As much as people are saying, oh, it was with Jubilee, not UDA, but somehow that election or the by-election spoke something.
There's
directly.
something that he said, just a minute, Elvin. There's something that he said culture,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
When Johnson was speaking, he said mindset somewhere within his nini.
Yes. So, about the mindset, yes, it starts from the mind. However, for the mind to be influenced, there must be some information it's given for that mindset to start changing. Otherwise, the mindset does not just change, like you don't just, it's not like a dream where you sleep and just wake up like, oh wow, I just thought of this. Okay, I'm awake now. No, the mindset changes when there's some information given. That's how the mindset starts changing.
Thank you. There are things that currently, I don't know about you, but there are things that need to end within our country. I think tumekuwa tukiongelea corruption for so long, kutoka hata tukwetu watoi. And by the day it seems like it's ever increasing. There are things that need to end with us. I've seen of late wanaitwa petty thieves wameongezeka. Nimeona companies actually, this is something that actually needs to be studied. Companies are now looking for a way to employ young people so that they can manipulate them. I'm not able to pay someone who's 35 years because yeye anajua value yake ni how much. Mimi nakwambia ati nakupatia exposure, nakupatia access to rooms. So I've seen companies that are actually employing people for quarter of the salaries that they're meant to be paid, just by the fact that you've just graduated from university ama umemaliza tu college. Come, unalipwa 15k ama 20k a month. Na hiyo kazi yenye unafanya, truthfully, you're supposed to be paid something in the zones of 60, 65. Now, bado the company is actually making profit margins. Yani, these are disease. I think that's the right word or the right phrase to use. There's a disease that is going on, and I don't know the extent to which it has gotten to every single part or every single aspect is crazy. There's no place that you can step into today whereby there's nothing that is, something fishy that is happening. Mwana tu juzi, someone has come out in public. There are two women, actually the video is still online, fighting. Why are they fighting? Over the same boss. Because the boss was going out with both of them. Both of them are his employees. You see, when we're talking about Kenya and when we're talking about changing all these things, it doesn't really start from anything grand. It doesn't start really from... I like how Proverbs says it. Proverbs says this. Hear my instruction. This is Proverbs chapter 4. And give attention to my words. I think when you proceed further on, it gets to a point of saying, in all you're getting, get understanding. Now, if you read the Amplified Bible gives you what understanding is. It gives you in three ways. It says, understanding number one is intellectual discernment or spiritual discernment. Number two, it says understanding is logical interpretation. And then thirdly, it says understanding is mature comprehension. So when we are talking about a full package of understanding what is currently happening in Kenya, we have to diagnose it using these three. For a long time, we've been using logical interpretation. So, leo tukitaka kustop goonism, logical interpretation itatuambia nini? Tutafute mwenye employer of goons na tumshike na tumweke nini. But that very thing is still in us. It means that people are already vulnerable. We have not yet cured what was the problem. So, changing leadership in Kenya has not yet cured what was the issue in Kenya. That is the only problem that I have with logical interpretation. Logical interpretation gives you facts. Na inazieka hapa mbele yako. Na ni ukweli, we can't argue with it. But beyond understanding or beyond seeing what is currently happening, we want to understand why it is happening. So beyond saying that goonism is bad, arrest the goons, I want to know, why is it by the ulikubali kulipo ukwe ya goon? I saw the governor being sentenced the other day, and when I was thinking about it, something in me ilikuwa nile, okay, justice can be done in different ways, and I'm not a judge by any means. We need to get people to a point of accountability. Just come truthfully. Na useme kenye ulifanya mbele ya the nation and man up to it. Say that I killed that woman. And I killed her because I was jealous that she was sleeping with other men. I killed her because she was doing this, and this, and this, and this. And I say, I'm proud of that. And then leave that man to his own conscience. Because you want to tell me that jailing him is equal to now what he did? You want to tell me that finding the person who's been orchestrating all these vices that are going through our societies is just enough? Tumpate, tumshike, justice is served. Because that is what activists say. Nataka sahi kutoka leo manzi, mwache kufikiria, tuache kufikiria kama activists. Ruto must go. Okay, yes, he goes. Sawa. Amefanya nini? Unatuambia 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But beyond, and I was having this conversation with someone, beyond saying Ruto must go, I want to understand why he was okay with people being killed in June 2024. I want to understand. Like, mi nataka kuelewa kwanza by the, okay, ni kweli mmeshafanya, ni sawa, haina shida, ishafanyika and it's okay. But beyond, tunaweza sema tutakushika, tunaweza sema tutakuua, it's okay. Mi nataka kuelewa mbona ulifanya hiyo stuff. What does it mean? It will point you back to his childhood. A number of things that probably disconnected him to make him come out like that. Anything that you see happening within institutions, anything that you see happening within companies, anything that you see happening within governments, it's just a smaller version of yourself that didn't grow up well. It's either that you're hurt, it's either that you're broken, or it's either that something in you haikufanyika fiti. Mimi sana nataka kuelewa hiyo stuff ni nini. Anytime that mtu anapatiwa microphone aongee, I want to know, beyond the words that you're speaking, who are you as a person? Because I've seen it. You guys, just before Gachagua was impeached, everyone here was against Gachagua. Sai. I don't know. I feel like there's this notion that tunasemanga Kenyans forget easily, and it's true. I do believe that Kenyans do forget easily. But beyond forgetting easily, niliambiwa nikuwe careful na my words. So, nataka kuniambia tu watu wengine wamechange tu hivyo. Yani they've just become angels because now they are telling you the truth that is happening. Nazi. We need to get to a point of understanding, even for the leaders that you're going to choose. If they're coming, and yes, probably you guys might be for Sifuna, and I have no problem with any presidential candidate. If Sifuna comes here and he stands, naanze kuambia Kenya atafanya and all that, understanding is in 3 ways. He'll tell you what he wants to do, and that's the logical interpretation to it. But beyond that, can we get to a point of maturity or mature comprehension? What is it that is done? What is it that is not done? Why did he do that thing? Why didn't he do it? But beyond that, can we get to a point of discernment? Discerning is basically, there's a way that you can weigh someone's words when they're speaking, to know where they're speaking from. Because nyinyi ndo mnasemanga out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaks. When someone tells you nini, he doesn't really have to, because we don't have currently, and I've heard Elvin say this, in 50 years. Mi sijui kuhusu nyinyi, but mi mwenyewe sijui kama niko na hizo 50 years. Johnson alikuwa ananiambia hata akimaliza nini yake akiwa 30, God amchukue. And I think I'm also of the same opinion. Mi nikimaliza nini yangu hakuna haja kubaki hapa. I don't have 50 years. Some of these things we can know currently. It doesn't really take much. It doesn't really take much. Yes, I know there's the aspect of patience, there's the aspect of growth that people are saying that we need to give time to whatever is currently happening. And kuna hiyo part na haina shida. Tuta solve hiyo part ya nini. But can we first start with what is happening? 3 things have to happen. Number 1 is recovery. Why is it that everything that passes through your hands lives with blood traces? Any man that is assigned to you, any team that is assigned to you, anything that is given to you always has to leave you with a broken state. It says, who shall ascend the holy hill of the Lord? It is he who has clean hands and he who has a pure heart. Some of us, because of what you've been doing and because of who you are, there's so much damage that is in you. And so anything that you're exposed to, you leave traces of your blood on it. Whether you're an employee, whether you're an employer, whatever it is that you are, whether you're a boyfriend or a girlfriend, you always leave blood traces on the other person or the other thing that you're currently doing. And this only happens because people were not raised in the right way. There are things that were not observed. So we've gotten to a point whereby we need to heal from some things. The truth is, each one of us has to be truthful to us. Tunafaa kufika kwa point ya truthfulness. Ujue, hakuna mtu hapa ataniambia hana side mbaya yake. What are those things that are your faults? As an example, if you're someone who avoids, what do you call it? If you're someone who avoids conflicts and we give you a company to run, what happens when something happens with your team? I'm a team member. Hautaongea, mtanyamaza tu iendelee. So you guys will continually move forward with a damage just because you're facing certain issues. Brokenness. So this. It's okay. I want you to think about this. There are a number of things that I'm going to list down. There are a number of things that when we talk about recovery, that means that we need to restore ourselves to our whole states. Many of us are walking in 0.5, 0.7, 0.2, 0.1. Is it possible for us to get to a point whereby we can have a whole man that is currently walking? Recovery. There are a number of things that I'm going to list down. And I want you to think about them. When we are talking about a broken man, or we are talking about a man who's facing issues, there are a number of vices that I want you to think of. Tuta progress nazo ni kuonyeshe venye zina mature from individuals to societies to even now large institutions. No maana hatuwezi tokea tu leo tuseme gava inafaa kuchange. Some of these things have to start with us. Think about deadly vices. Deadly vices. Think about wrath. Think about envy. Think about lust. Think about greed. Think about pride. Think about sloth. What is wrath? Consuming or uncontrolled rage that destroys relationships. Envy, bitter resentment of another person's success. Lust, obsessive desire that replaces genuine human connection. Greed, insatiable pursuit for wealth, power, or status. Pride, arrogance that prevents admitting hurt or seeking self-help. Sloth, deep apathy, hopelessness, and emotional stagnation. So the question that I want to ask is, where are you? They are relational and ego vices. Jealousy, as an example, the fear of losing someone or something to a rival. Hyper-competitiveness, validation sought solely by defeating others. Vindictiveness, an obsessive desire for revenge and settling scores. Resentment, bitterness built from holding on to past injuries. Kwanza resentment. Malice, the active desire to see others suffer. The internal and behavioral vices. Arrogance, masking deep insecurity with false superiority. Callousness, hardening the heart to stop feeling empathy. Deceit, lying to oneself and others to hide vulnerability. Cowardice, fleeing from emotional honesty and accountability. Self-pity, obsessing over one's suffering without seeking growth. Self-pity. Then there are destructive and coping mechanisms. Escapism, using addictions to numb the underlying pain. Isolation, cutting off support systems due to shame. Projection, blaming the world for internal brokenness. And let me just leave it at that because we can go on and on and on. The question is, currently, uko wapi? What are the things that you currently have or you're currently bearing that are leading or are making you behave in certain types of ways? Huh? Where are you currently? And I want you to think about things that you currently feel or you're currently engaged to because of things that you underwent. I want you to think about the relationships that you've had, both romantic, platonic friendships. Think about the family relationships that you've had. How have they shaped you to become you right now? What are those things that currently manifest in you? Dora, umeniangalia sana. Patia Dora mic. Patia Dora mic. I'll give an example and I'll start with myself. Honestly, for myself, because again, hii stuff na kila mtu. I think there was a point where I was a coward. I would flee from honesty, emotional honesty. Immediately, nakumbuka just before I got into university, bro, najua nilikuwa, I almost had like 6 girls. Wote tu niku, it's shuffling here, there. And whenever I was called, whenever ningesikia msee anasema ati propose, unajua kuna dem niliachana naye juu ya hiyo. Ati alikuwa nataka ni na mimi nikamwambia haiwezi. In other words, I looked at myself and I understood that was a part of me that I was not true. I was not honest emotionally. I just wanted to be there. I just wanted to have fun and get to, lakini ni kitambo, acheni kunijudge. This is 2021. Hey, relax, calm down. 2021, 2022. Hey, wait. This is 2021. Yeah. I think about myself and pride. I think, no, pride really. But yeah, I think some sense of pride in the sense whereby, personally, kuna places zenye nilikuwa najua nikiweza fikana na msee ni God tu amenihelp. Mimi nakuacha na siwezi sitajali. Hata kana Joy, you're the one who's meant to help me. Afadhali niende nikufe huko kwingine. I'll not come for help. And it's something that I think God amenihelp for some time. I'm not scared to admit that I need help. I'm not scared to admit that I'm at this current position and fikiria tu. I'm at this particular position and siwezi move forward. What are those things that you can be truthful to yourself today? And some of these things are really shaped by where you come from. I came from a home my mom got me when she was relatively young. I think she was about 20 or 21 years. And alikuwa amehepa home. Alikuwa akihepa home, amelipiwa school fees aende shule. So aya anaenda kuona buda wangu, and that's how I came. At that particular point, she needed to move out. Because niaje na kulipia school fees na kupatia monthly keep up lakini monthly upkeep lakini hauendi shule, haufanyi kenye unafaa kuwa unafanya. After some time, I think my dad was a bit violent. I'm yet to confirm the story. But allegedly he was violent. Alikuwa anamchapa na vitu kaa hizo. So she had to come back home. Now coming back home, kumbuka alikuwa drop out of school, amepata mtoi. So she had to go back to school and work to just compensate and at least seem appealing to the parents. Like say niko serious na life. That meant that kuna part sasa ilibidi aniache because she was not making enough money to employ a house help. This bado time nilikuwa mdogo, I think I was about 6 months or so. So I was raised with my grandparents. And part of being raised with my grandparents is I grew up knowing that my mom had other children. And I remember I used to cry a lot, especially when I was younger. But it got to a point whereby I numbed the pain. Sijui hata nilijua aje kufanya hiyo stuff. Nakumbuka one day after crying, I just manned up and nikasema, I'll never cry about this thing ever again. You know, sasa hapo ndo part nilikuja kuelewa, this is whereby I developed that sense of not wanting to seek help from anyone. Because I would see her once in a year, Christmas. Akikam Christmas na arudi. Na akikam Christmas naona kuna mabrothers wangu, and then to the man that he was married to, he had a child also, someone who's older than me. So what is the excuse? You're living with people who are older and younger than me, but me. That thing hurt me. It hurt me so much. And I remember, so one time nikasema, by the I'll never cry about it. So there's a doctor who's my mentor the other day who was asking me, did you process and actually heal through that thing, ama did you get over it? And I told him the truth is that I got over it, because ni swali nilikuwa najua nitakuja kuuliza masangu nikikuwa mkubwa. Mpaka sasa najua labda nitakuja kumuuliza. But there's a wound that it opened within my heart. There's a certain way that I wouldn't now be able to relate with people. I understood from a young age that people can come and people can go. Hata before ninge relationships. So uli understand ukikuwa kwa relationship. Mimi nili understand before. Nikajua venye vitu tu zitakuwa. So that is the point whereby hata ningefanya makosa shule, I wouldn't come back and tell my grandparents that I did this and this and this, and this is what is expected. I think in primary school it was so bad because we got to a point whereby we had failed in a particular exam and I faked my results. Nikafake results zangu nikasema siwezi kuja kuambia ati nataka tuition ama why. I'll sort myself out. So what are those things that you're facing as a person that point you to the damage that you have? Because me as a Yonaivo, right now I work with a team in Digital Africa. And one of the things that inevitably that you'd need to work with if you're working with a team is that you're going to handle conflicts. So kwa saa hii ni kwa ile point ya naweza sema nani huyo ametoka? Nani huyo ametoka? I'm like sawa, kwani how many people are there? Ni watu wangapi wanatumanga DM wanataka kujoin Digital Africa? Ni tuko na volunteers wangapi? Tuko I'm at a point of being able to say that. Naweza kuja saa hii ni kuongelesha venye nataka. Na nikimaliza nikwambie toka, ishia. Because it just points out to that inner child in me that didn't really get to heal. Someone mishandled you, or there's a thing that you learned. One of the other things that I remember is when growing up, since I used to be raised by my grandparents, my granddad used to be a very harsh man, extremely harsh. Ajaini chapa, lakini the words that come out of his mouth, way. So it got to a point whereby I learned that habit by just being with him. Kuna venye, that's why tunasema unajonga exposure, watu wanadhani exposure tu ni exposure to good things. Once you expose to someone, you get both his strengths and weaknesses. Now there are very good things that I got from him, I can't lie. But relationship management in terms of speaking to people, especially tukiwa tumekasirikiana, I wouldn't really care about how you feel. Wenda process emotions zako, mimi niko na zangu, nitahandle zangu. So those were some of the things that I had to note out early enough and handle them. What are those things that you're currently facing? Either learned, either they're just your own personal weaknesses, that kuna weaknesses zenye wazazi wako walikuwa nafaa kukuhelp run through with them, ama kuzi overcome. What are those weaknesses? Do you know them? Ama unasikinga tu watu wakisema na una feel like wanakuingilia? Dora, do you know them? Talk to us. Say hi to Dora by the way. Dora is helping us a lot in Digital Africa with structures. So, yeah.
Hello. My weakness. Number one, I think cowardice. Yeah, it's something that I am now currently dealing with.
Unaona unafaa kuendea zile booklets.
Ati?
Unafaa kuendea zile booklets.
Yes.
Okay,
Number two, over independence.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Before I ask for help.
Are you the only child?
No.
What's the age gap between you and your sibling?
2.
Interesting. Okay. Were you
the
exposed?
firstborn.
Were you exposed to boarding school?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think those are the two that I'm dealing with right now.
Over independence. So how will that manifest if Dora now rises and probably siku moja mkuje ku-elect Dora? By the way, she's running a beautiful society and as well as a company that helps people with strategies and just you putting things in order. So ukitaka nini unaweza muona, of course atafi. Atakuambia ni how much. But what happens when Dora is now, think of any position that you'd want to have, probably either in a private company or in a government. Let's say Dora is the Attorney General. She's gotten to a point, probably 20 years down the line, she's now the Attorney General. What are the things that you'd expect Dora to now manifest because she has over-independence? ndo nikuonyeshe sasa hizo vitu ndo zina play out today in the current government. What will happen? Mtakuwa mnaendea marriage certificates pale kwa office ya Attorney General hazikui processed because Dora insist lazima zifanyike in a particular way na zitafanyika only with one particular person. That is one of the signs as to how over independence actually manifests, but now at a skilled level. That she wants it to be done like this. If it's not Jesse doing it, hakuna mtu mwingine atafanya, hata area yeye mwenyewe akuja afanye. And at that particular moment you have so many people probably employed and so many people who are on the payroll. But because you don't want to seem weak when you're asking for help, utasema acha izikae. So people will start complaining, oh, by the way, this and this is not happening, this and this is not happening. You want to tell us your weaknesses? Just tell us your weaknesses. Why are you laughing?
My weakness is pride.
Mnacheka. Pride.
And wrath.
Pride and wrath.
I'm opening up now.
Pride and wrath. Ni noma. So do you know how that can manifest now? In different settings, probably with a team that you're leading, probably with, do you know how that can manifest? How do you think it can manifest? Pride and wrath.
I'd think that I'm always right. So
You'd think, ama do you think?
you may change.
Okay.
So yeah, I won't take people's advice.
Exactly. Now, with something that I know with pride is that pride, you hate correction. Pride, you're not willing to go with someone else's way because you want it to be only your way. And so, according to me, nikiona ile temenye Gen Z sijui tumefanya nini 2024 things have ended, and then the first press conference after that you come before us and you tell us, you terrorists are using a similarity. No, like that, now it's in its exalted form. Sijui kama sasa mnapata. Every single thing is to a certain extent. Sahi unakaweni mhumble, nijua hujaliftiwa bado. Nijua bado hujapata hizo positions. That is what we are currently seeing. So you can either choose to handle those things right now, or anything that passes through your hands, venye tu nimesema, will live with traces of blood. Because you're wounded, you will wound other people. Because you're wounded, you will wound systems. Because you're wounded, companies will suffer. Tuseme hata wewe ni mzuri, basi performance metrics za companies zinaingiana, lakini mbona unakula kila dem kwa hiyo company? And you know very well that they're actually married. Do you think it's the right thing to do? Last. Unasema tu ni God amekuwekea hiyo kitu tu ndani. Last, now being exalted. One more person and then we move to now the most important part, and then I close the conversation. One more person. Mmeogopa? Dennis huwa anakanga mhumble. Dennis, fikiria cha Elvin ajibu. Unakanga mhumble, leo ni sisi na wewe. Yes, Elvin. Yeah.
Wow. This is a very self-reflective question, I got to say so. And the things I've realized about my weaknesses is one, imposter syndrome.
Wow.
I feel like it's a thing with so many people, but I believe it's the reason why it is really added is because this thing of people saying disability.
Don't even continue. With imposter syndrome, do you know how imposter syndrome now manifests at a heightened level? you're always overcompensating to other people.
Yes.
You're always over-apologizing.
And
you always...
you do a lot of compromising.
Exactly, to fit in or to make
people.
sure, yes, you can be the boss.
Yes.
Lakini uone unafanya vitu zenye ufoku unafanya.
Wena ndo unakaliwa chapo zaidi.
I love that. I love that. By the way, give a round of applause to Elvin. I saw him in our first meetup, and I was really surprised. I was like, wow, quite interesting. Dennis, what are your weaknesses?
Hello everyone.
Hello.
I think I struggle a lot with pride
Pride.
and cowardice.
Cowardice.
Yeah.
Wow. Yani combination nyingine moto. Pride and cowardice. So yeye anaweza waua huku nje. Kama angekuwa president alafu aogope kuja press conference. Wahu atawaua alafu akuje press conference. Ule atawaua alafu ahepe. Ajifiche. In other words, every single thing that is in you, you need to get to a point, number one, of honesty. But now that you know that you have that thing, you have to trace it back to understand where it came from. Understand what are the things that actually got you to that particular point. Was it that people mismanaged you? Was it that there's probably a certain situation that you were in, mse aka kumake worked hivo, and then now it became a way to just move with life. So you've forever been stuck at that particular place. So the first level tumesema ni recovery. Recovery, all of us, many of us, hii mambo ya tribalism mimi sidhani itaisha. Na hata ikiisha, there's something else that is going to come up. There's something else that is going to come up. Currently, the way we are, there's something else that is going to come up. So yes, tukisema Gen Z, we are tribeless, we are partyless. It's okay, but the symptoms that our parents had, we still have them. Meaning that we'd just find another way to be able to attribute ourselves or call ourselves a certain thing because we are able to name it. The second thing after recovery, getting to a point of understanding that these are my weaknesses. For me, I'll tell you how I dealt with mine. I remember one of the ways that I was able to understand it vizuri is that when I got into a relationship, I think nilingia relationship by mistake. But when nilingia relationship, sasa nikiwa ndani, ndio sasa ikaanza kukua evident. Kuna siku zenye manze nilikuwa nataka kusema kitu, lakini anything I tell this person always has an answer for me. Nimwambie nini ako na jibu. So nikajua huyu acha tu niachane naye. So either way I got to a point of I had to just mature up. Siju nilikuwa nataka, si ati nilikuwa nataka kuwa msempoa zi. Ni juu sasa niliona wewe tukiendelea hivi wewe tayari kuna penye ushanifikisha na kuna penye unaniona. So for me I was exposed to it, and so I dealt with it in the way whereby whenever I was in a relationship and an argument would probably come up, something had to happen, I'd just be like, it's okay, let it be your way, ni sawa. So one of the way of losing that very thing in the sense of pride was always letting the other person be. Not unless kama mimi na nataka kabisa. Na mimi nitakuacha huko venye utakuwa na mimi nitafanya yangu. So there are some, you need to get to a point of understanding how you can heal from those things. Number two, after recovery, the first part of recovery is reassembly of the man so that you're one. We need to have people who are whole. Many people are walking like this, but if the inner man in you is looked at, it is broken. You're either in your half state or your three-quarter state or your quarter state. You need to get to a place whereby you are holistic. Holistic meaning that people can actually be entrusted to you. Do you know what it takes for God to actually entrust people to you? It takes a certain level of growth and maturity. Can you actually get to that part? The second level sasa naambia ni alignment. Now, think of this. Someone who's broken. So, let's use the example of Dennis. Amesema kona pride na amesema kona ati? Amesema cowardice. wrath and cowardice, and then upate sasa he's misaligned. Ako penye anafaa kuwa. So upate labda Dennis sahi anafanya chemical engineering na yeye anafaa kuwa farmer. So unaenda kupeleka pride kwa chemical engineering and you actually meant to be in this particular place. Many of us are not in the spaces where we actually meant to be. That's the truth. So beyond knowing ourselves and beyond understanding those weaknesses that we have, the second thing, after healing from them and after getting to a point where you whole, the second thing is alignment. I had a meeting with a certain member of parliament last week, and he was telling me, the one thing that I'm afraid with your generation is that all of you guys are feeling like seeing politics ndo iko na pesa yote. That is why MP yote akitokea hapa ama governor atokea hapa, kila mtu anataka kupatiwa do. All of us have crowded to one sector. So kila mtu anataka kuingia forex. Kila mtu anataka kuingia politics. Kila mtu anataka kuingia business, ama kila mtu anataka kuingia computer science, aingie STEM, aingie job, kuandikwa job, because ameona computer science ukifanya sijui kitu kama nani amefanya anaitwa Jesse, umeja na blockchain, probably you have your 150,000 clean money. You have 150,000 of clean money. So how many of us are actually misaligned? Are you sure the part that you're actually in is where you're actually meant to be? So beyond treating the man and beyond having a whole man, the man is also possible to be in a field where he's not meant to be. Can you actually get to a point of understanding penye unafaa kuwa? It'll need a lot of self-reflection. It'll need a lot of honesty. And at times it can even need help from other people. Lakini sasa hii uko at a better place because unaweza ulizia help juu hauogopi sasa. Some of us need to be aligned to where it is that we are meant to be. After I finished university, I was given 8 job opportunities. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Some of them I was to apply and send a CV. Some of them ilikuwa tu ni show up kwa office. Mi nigoje tu mwisho wa mwezi pesa ianze kuingia. But I knew that was not what I was meant to do. And I turned them down. All of them. And after turning them down, nikasema na move out. Una move out kufanya nini? Utakuwa kaje chakula kwa nini yako? Nikasema tu nitajua hata sijui. I'll just know. But I had that conviction of where it is that I'm meant to go. I was aligned. I'm not here leading this conversation by mistake. We are not here at PCA Umoja today by mistake. Unajua some of you sasa mko hapa labda by me. Hata ujui ulijipata hapa aje. Labda uliona video fulani ama mtu alikutumia text akakwambia ukuje. Ilikuwa tu ile ya kubahatisha. Can we move from a point of always kubahatisha vitu, just guessing? Because your father was an accountant akakwambia ufanye CPA, so pia wewe umekuwa accountant. Nani alikwambia careers zinakuanga hereditary? Una inherit. Eh? Because your auntie has gotten into a certain space and she's earning good money, you're also there. Many of us are misaligned, and it requires honesty. It requires truthfulness. But beyond recovery, the next stage, or the next step is efficiency. I don't know who was talking about effectiveness. I think it was Jesse. He was talking about effectiveness, and I'm coming to that even as I wrap up. Now, the most integral part of where it is that we live in our families and societies. Anyone who's looking forward to having a family. Nani hapa kati yetu ako passionate about families? Unajua uko na passion, you love families. Nikukuuliza swali labda, okay, si kukuaibisha, but we are trying to have a conversation. Where's the mic? Probably give Kezia the mic. Kezia, you're looking forward to having a family?
Yes.
Or you just love families?
Both. Yeah.
Aya. Tell me the importance of having a family beyond companionship and beyond nini. Tell me the importance of having a family beyond companionship and beyond having children, procreation.
Personally, I will say it creates bond.
Bond is companionship.
Oh.
Naweza fikiria kuna mtu anajua hiyo jibu, because many of us actually love families. True or false? Nani anaweza jibu hiyo swali? Do you think family is actually there for companionship and procreation only? Yani mko tu mabeshte, you guys have sex, you guys go out, you guys have children, and that is it. Yes.
Perhaps looking for someone who can help you walk into your purpose.
Walk into your purpose. That's actually an element of your partner. I love that. That. Thank you. Anyone else? Elvin. Elvin, no, upatie mbio mbio, naona time yangu imeisha.
Family is self-awareness, more of self-awareness, form of humanity in terms of unity.
Okay. I love the first one of growth and development. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Jenny.
Fiti.
Very nice. So me, I think kuna part ya legacy.
Legacy.
Part ya legacy, you know, yeah. Nje ile maybe ile part yenye a certain family iko attached na legacy fulani yenye wameacha.
So ukitaka kuwa na family wewe unaangalia legacy.
Like naangalia tu kwa ground vile ziko. Kuna familia zenye ziko juu ya legacy yenye wameestablish.
Nakupata. Kasa the Kenyatta family,
exactly.
The Moi family. Legacy is one part. But what is the most important part of having families? Families sahi. Yani ile time unaona, some of you actually go to God with this prayer point that God nisaidie mimi nipate tu dem fiti sasa manze. Mimi nimechoka kuenda round, nimechoka kuchezwa, nimechoka kupelekana out, nimechoka ku waste time. I just want alignment. Sasa sahi staki jokes, niko serious. Ule mwenye napata niko all in. And he's like, okay, he's seeing the sincerity in it and probably can actually lead you to it. But when you're talking about family and something that I've come to notice that probably the earlier generations hawaku to explain here, family is meant to be a place where destinies are shaped. In other words, family is a place, number one, where formation of people happens. So before you even go to school, family is your first school. So probably try this. Go to God and tell him that, God, mimi nimeona jani umenipatia. For example, mimi kama I know I'm a generational steward. I know that you've given me generational stewardship, and that probably is part of legislation. I know that there's something that I might not be able to do, maybe like the marketplace impact that I'd want, but I want to be the one who will bring the seed in terms of the person who's actually going to do that. Can you actually give me that opportunity of bringing up that child? That will basically mean that you have to also have alignment with the wife that you're going to find. So for you, it's just not about the sex and just about the companionship, but there's something that you want to change within this country. You've seen that the country of Kenya, one of the problems that we have is the advisors of the president in terms of the strategies that we're supposed to lay out for our economy. Has he worked? Na labda mimi najua hujaniweka huko, lakini mimi nataka kuleta ule msemo mwenye atafanya hivyo. Isizo unipatie mtoi ni mraise tayari yako, ama mimi ndo atakuwa mtoi wangu sasa. Why wouldn't God answer your question? Answer your request. Go and look at the nini that Abraham, your conversation ya Abraham. Alafu God anakuja sasa anamwambia your seed shall be great. Nini. Many of us need to see lives beyond ourselves. That is something that I've come to understand. One of the people that mpaka to date najua alikuwa ananipenda sana, and I've never seen someone love me as much as my uncle. Bro, he just wanted me to see me succeed extremely. Hadi ile point yenye hata mimi najishanga, I don't know if there's a part of me that he was, a part of him that he was seeing in me, but the guy wanted me to, yani hata venye angekujanga shule kuona marks zangu nini, it was not just about the marks. Just being in in that presence, there was an atmosphere that he used to carry. Because he wanted me to be something. Now, coming back into families, families are the only places, are the only things that can actually prevent recovery. Right now, we are undoing the damage that has already been made. But in essence, the damage should not be there. If families get to play their role, the damage will not be there. So we will not be talking about recovery in terms of you regathering yourself. We'll only be talking about alignment. But sahi tayari tuko -5. Tunafaa kuanzia 0 lakini sahi tuko -5. And so if you're thinking, nimeona many of you want to get into families, and this is something I tell the people that I teach, the people that I am with. If you're thinking about starting a family, the only request that I have for you, before you bring up a child, before you actually engage in sexual intercourse, whether you're going to get married or not, think about this. For the child that you're going to bring up, ama mwenye utamleta, ensure tu, ensure, mimi sijui utafanya aje, asiende into waste. If it means that you need to align him to what it is that he's supposed to become, do that. Actually, I feel like if many of us could actually be, tunaweza fanya hiyo stuff, a lot of things in the societies tutaweka kando. The only problem that I have with families is that we have misinterpreted values. So, yes, we have values, but the values that we need to bring up and we need to bring in a very good way, atukwangi tumezileta fiti. As an example, loyalty, and I did a video on this. Loyalty, you see, part of why we are seeing things being given out to people, to probably you're the president, nilikuwa naona kuna times walikuwa wameka hiyo stuff kwa standard about Wetangula. Wakeka all the people that are related to him that are now in government because of him. Loyalty. Loyalty is not bad, but blind loyalty is. That I'll defend you even if you're doing wrong. We need to step out of certain construed things. Honor. I've not seen this. This is not really as bad in Kenya, but it's really bad in the Western African countries, where people honor you na wanafanya vitu hata wafai kuwa wanafanya. There's a place for honor, but lakini sioni kind of relate to Kenyans as much. Duty. Yeah. Let's talk about duty. Duty. Many of you guys have already got into black tax. Mnalipa black tax, ndio? And it's all in the name of responsibility. The value in itself is not bad, but it has been twisted. I go to the guy who shaves me. Kuna time alikuwa na complain, anasema manze, pesa ikiingianga tu hivi lazima atumie mamake or else itakuwa na shida, sijui kuna mabro wake, sijui nini. Twisted relational values. Look at unity. One of the biggest things that is eating Kenya, I hope you know, is unity. Because unity is what has been twisted to now become tribalism. So I have a friend who told me that even in their community, they have a phrase. It's a proverb. Actually, it's a proverb yenye imetengenezwa. Hata kama ni panya ni yetu. It's an actual proverb in one of the communities in Kenya. Look at protection. Look at resilience when it now becomes stoic and toxic to men. Forgiveness. I've seen forgiveness being turned into a harm enabler. Tutakusamea tu, ni haina shida. And people are doing things because they know that they're just going to be forgiven. Values that have been construed within our families and societies. Actually, to me, the government is not as important, the institutions are not as important as families and societies. One of the ways to change what is happening in Kenya currently and to bring a change into these spaces venye tunasema, the easiest way actually will be through families and through societies. Someone said that hata Ruto anatoka kwa familia fulani. That is true. This thing cannot just come and you tell someone, hey, acha corruption. It can't happen. It can't happen. And that is what logical interpretation will tell you. It can't happen. It can't happen. I said, this part, na time yangu imeisha. There's something that I wrote down that I want to read out to you. I wrote down this. It is possible to have distinct and functional communities which can't command results since they are despised because of effectiveness. Now, families and societies are meant to be efficient. It only brings about efficiency. Efficiency is minimum input, maximum output. There's a certain threshold that has to be met in terms of the spaces that we are meant to get into. For the results that we are demanding as Kenya, kuna threshold tayari imewekwa. The families that can actually get to those thresholds are the ones that can be able to command results. So it is possible that you can step into certain spaces and see that kuna functional, fully functional societies and communities, but they can't really command results. Why can't they command results? Because the last part is effectiveness. The last effectiveness inamaanisha nini? Effectiveness ni minimal waste, if I'm not wrong. Having minimal waste. Can we have spaces whereby at waste vitu? And this is now the tertiary level institutions whereby you guys are talking about, oh, the government is wasting money, there's corruption, there's this thing. In my institution, probably nepotism is happening and all that. I wish I had more time to just have a conversation with you guys on effectiveness, but probably we'll pick it up on the next monthly meeting. So acha niache hapo. As I even give out my parting shot to do with Kenya, I want you to think through this, yeah? Think through a state. And this is what I say about Kenya. Kenya has a vision. Kenya is a nation. It has a vision. It is there. Whether tunajua ama hatujui, Kenya has a vision. You can argue with it or not, it is there. And I tell people this, one of the ways to know the right leader, at least, it's not one of the ways to know him, but at least itatusaidia ni the leader who can correctly identify what the vision of Kenya is. Tutakuwa na 2030, tutakuwa na vision 2030, tutakuwa na bottom up, tutakuwa na nini. Sifuna akiingia president tuseme hivyo tu sahi, kutakuwa na vision nyingine. So then the question now becomes is, as a nation, are we really controlled by the visions of the people sitting in power? Or is Kenya in itself a state that carries a vision, independent of who is in power? It does. It does. And I pray that one day that utapata hiyo burden ya kufeel what Kenya is going through. Seeing some of the underprivileged communities, seeing how injustice is prevailing within this country. I don't understand why certain cases take 15 years when they can be handled in 1 year. I don't understand why certain things have been normalized. We are normalizing violence. We are normalizing vices that are not meant to be had. But that cannot only start by us condemning them. Condemning is activism. And there's a role for activism. But beyond activism, what are you doing? Start by healing yourself. I'll start by healing me. Arise, soldiers. Kenya. Kenya is waiting.
Let's appreciate Tinega once again. Tumefurahia, tujafurahia. Have you learned something? Have you learned something? Kama umelearn kitu inua mkono. Haya, tusimame kidogo, tusimame. Haya, unaweza stretch sasa. Stretch. Unajua kuna mtu tangu tuanze amekaa hivi. Stretch tena. Salimia mwenzako. Muulize, what have you learned?